video follows on from the video I've just uploaded now this second. Matt's come back to help me do my skin. It's been in for a week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Ugh. Check out Neil's cool mini welder. Lady welder. I can't say that. The feminists will come and get me. And it smells like, for all intents and purposes, disinfectant, doesn't it? Yeah, it doesn't smell funny, honestly. I can't even explain to you. It looks disgusting, but it just smells like nothingness. It's really weird.
Yeah, no, it smells, there's no rot or anything like that. It just...
Bonus.
Yeah.
I have a right-handed welding glove. We've got a left-handed one. God, that is what we want. It looks dry under there. It's really weird.
It will be dry once we've...
Can I feel it?
Yeah.
So we need to do all of it like that?
The majority, yeah. Like all this stuff here I'm going to get off. But that there, once we sand it all down, it'll end up looking like that. But the more we can get off at this stage,
the easier it's going to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a long run.
If you listen to your head, then you lost your heart. So do you let it out or do you let it go? Do you do what you want? Well, you never know. Put a smile on your face like you never cared. Sick of dreaming you could be out there.
Look at that.
Ah! What do you think?
It's not going to slide.
No, that's not going to go anywhere.
Ground, aren't they?
That's big. Morning. So it was that big, we had to chop 2 slithers off down the side, but we'll sort them out when it's done. Slithers, if anybody wants a cow skin purse or a boob tube maybe. There isn't a great deal of hair loss. There's a little bit, so we'll see how extensive that is when me and Royal wash it today. It's not really coming out too much, is it? Just a little bit. So that's where, you know, when I put the salt on to stop any like bacteria forming, that's what happens when bacteria forms. The hair follicles rot and the hair falls out. But apart from that, it's not too bad, is it? There's a little bit down here, but it'll add character. It's fair sizable, like. Very impressed. Boy's filling the feeder and I am just going to scrape the cows. I am well aware that this episode is very cowhide heavy, so I'm just going to throw a bit of bobcat in there just to make it, even it out a bit. Farm boys, one for the farm boys. Don't know if I can make it particularly artistic when I'm driving it though, because it's not really easy. Do not try and do that with one hand. That was a fail. The other week and I actually forgot to reply where we got a scraper from. It was made by a man called Ian Dinsdale. It's pretty simple but pretty genius, and honestly I wouldn't be without it now, and I would automatically get another. Like honestly I wouldn't actually be without it, especially if you're on cubicle sheds. I suppose you could muck another shed out with a bucket, couldn't you? But for the cubicle shed, wouldn't be without it. I remember having like an old Browns one. When I say it was old, it wasn't actually old, it was brand new, but obviously the concept was old. It went on the back of a Massey, or a 135, and that was what I learned to drive on here, and that was the first tractor that we got. Yeah, that is where it all started. and you used to have to just, like normal, run down the shed, pull the string, turn it over, and then go the other way with the tractor. But that is, it's a life changer. It's absolutely brilliant. We love it. It is very much taken from an American design, and obviously the Americans are king of the skid steer. Bobcat, particularly, Gel. Very much would not be arsing about with pulling ropes and levers and whatnot. Like Roy's attitude would be very similar, that he can be back out of the shed by the time they've turned the little scraper over. Stop it, got to feed. Why am I closing the gate? This is what happens when I get to talking. Tractor guys, tractor! Naughty cow. She jumps fences, she's really naughty. Oh, this is turning into a very whimsical kind of episode. Spring has sprung, seriously. My pear tree. And obviously it won't happen, but all these little things here in the middle will turn into pears. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. Wow. With the fringe even look like a Jessica. We need to nip into town because this is missing its wheel. We took it to get repaired. The valve had gone on it. It wasn't just a puncture. So we took it to Appleby Tyres, I think he's called, and just left it there. And we'll go and pick it up today. We weren't in any rush. From a farm sale. And at that farm sale, there was some absolutely colossal concrete troughs. Feeling they were from like the Rivers Trust, that kind of thing, something like that. They were to do with the rivers. Oh, they were huge. And they went at the farm sale. When we went back to pick the trailer up, they went for nothing, honestly, next to nothing. And God, they would be so handy now, they really would. I always remember them troughs, it's really annoying. They were like swim pools. Just tried to get a really cool plane. It was not the same as yesterday's. It was like grey and a lot more pointy. It's a good description, that, isn't it? Someone said in the comments last night that they're practicing for the coronation. Roy said some of them will be. Some of them will be. You can still hear it. It's coming. It says plane spotting does not work. I disagree. It's a service for people. I'm a public service. Talking yesterday about the ledge and why we do it. So the whole of the floor is sloped to come down, and it was meant to run into the passage, run off, and then we could scrape it. That's all well and good. But the concrete settled, and here it raises a tiny bit, and I mean a tiny bit, and it just hasn't got the fall to take it off. So when we scrape back off that ledge every day, that's the wet and the piss and stuff that should have fallen into the middle and doesn't. I'm running, kids, I'm running. Oh my God, it's lovely. He's so lonely on his own in the sky. Oh, hello, distinguished gentlemen. What are you doing in this bush? Oh, so I have big news. Now I said you never dress appropriately. I put my Bobcat gilet on this morning, and I am regretting that decision. They make them like that because they know a Bobcat does not have a door, and they expect you to be cold, and therefore they make them very thermal, somewhat like what you put around a boiler, in colour as well. Oh, she's sweating. Oh my God, I'm surprised you can't see a heat wave rising. I could just take my coat off, but that would be very much too much effort right now. You know the tag we were missing? Here it is. We only had to pay postage and package on it. Was a free replacement. Chaz and his sister, that cow, they are assholes. for rubbing tags out. Really, really naughty. They must just get itchy ears and rub the tags out. They are prone to pulling a tag out. So yeah, flame replacement tags, amazing. Into the big news. Other news, we have huge news. I'm just eating my dinner and then I will be going down to the post office to post the agreement for a robotics grant that we were granted yesterday at 5 o'clock. Yes, you heard that correctly. The robotics grant for the big shed is a go, go, go. I started this channel with full transparency and I will continue to do so. Do not worry, I will fill you in on all the gory details. Do you know what? Why not? Does it actually matter? The fact that I'm telling people on the internet our plans doesn't affect the way that we will go forward or change anything for us, to be honest. So I don't see why I wouldn't. It was a tiny bit dubious about telling you about the grant, only because, hear me out before you go, why? When I first started this channel, there was a couple of posts online put about me and it was very much, oh yeah, had a look at the setup, it's all grant funded, and it was really said in quite a negative fashion, and it got me a little bit that it wasn't grant funded, if I'm perfectly honest. And Roy, especially me and Roy, and more so Roy, has put an awful lot of time and hard work into this farm, and for it just to be, you know, sidelined as just a grant funded project, it wasn't, and it irked me quite a lot. So I was a bit like, do I say that we've got this grant or do I not? Anyway, I spoke to Tom Pemb yesterday and said, what would you do? And he said, it was obviously literally put it all into perfect perspective. If there was a 2-for-1 offer, would you say no? Like he said, do you remember Orange Wednesdays at the cinema? Would you say, oh no, I don't want to use Orange Wednesdays, I'll pay full price for 2 tickets? No, you wouldn't. And that just put it all into perspective for me. Grants are there to be had. They are there to be taken. If they're not used, they'll just be absorbed by something else. So if you are in a position where you want to apply for one, do it. Hands down, do it. It is a lengthy process. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of planning and time gone into it. But now you can understand why, yes, we've sold cows, but no, we've not made any definite plans for the shed. We've got plans, obviously, but we've not made any definite concrete plans, which we will now do. Seriousness, if anybody else wants any information on how to apply for these grants, get in touch. Total transparency. And we have a really good land agent that we use, H&H, and I'll give you the number. It's so, they do take quite a lot of the stress out of it, and they're really quite handy to work with. It is a lengthy process, I won't lie, and the stress is more the waiting for it to come through, because it's been a long time, hasn't it? It's been over a year since we first applied for this, and it came through like yesterday at 5 o'clock. Now when we talk about shed plans, buying jerseys, making big changes, slurry, stuff like that, none of it's hypothetical, it's all going into action, which is what we wanted, hence why the shed's been completely empty. We've not done anything with it, we've just left it as it is until now. Can you imagine for a minute that we had held off and we've got our grant approved? It's 24 months. This grant runs for 24 months. You have 24 months to complete the work and be milking. Like, it's not even just have some work done. You have to be milking. Imagine applying now this second to our newly merged council, which probably doesn't know its arse from its elbow. I don't mind saying that. And a planning department that's newly formed, you know, with different people. I don't even know, what council even are we? I don't even think we're a council that I know. I think we're Barrowing, Furness, something, and we're nowhere even near that. I mean, I can't even tell you. West Cumbria, yeah. Moreland and Furness Council. What? What is that? In Furness, I have never been in my life, and is probably, I just said down to junction 36 in an hour from there, so it's probably about an hour and 45 minutes away from where we are now, and we have been merged into a council with them. Isn't that handy? Anyway, back to the matter in hand. If we were applying for permission now, we would have to wait for the permission to come through, which would take God knows how long. Bear in mind, time is ticking all this while. We would have to start looking at sourcing a building, steel prices, all the people that held off during the high steel prices, starting to think about putting buildings up. So we'd be in a long queue of people. Getting somebody wouldn't have settled underneath the building, because we had to raise it up about 1.5 meters inside. As you might have seen, there's a lot of fill in it, and there's still a lot more in. It was material from a demolition project in a local town, and that wouldn't have settled because it wouldn't have had a roof over to dry. It had still been wet. And then trying to find somebody to come within that window of applying for planning permission, sourcing a building, getting a building made, getting a building delivered, and then getting somebody to come and put the building up for you, then source some cows, then put your robots in, and then be milking, all within 24 months. Actually, these grants are set up to fail. We're not looking so daft now, are we really? Let's be honest. Are they? My letter. Me and Roy have both signed it, and I am going to go and run it down to our new local post office. Now, this is being set up in the village hall once a week on a Wednesday. Pop-up post office. Roy just chimed in as he walked through the door. Pop-up post office. That's where I am going. I'll tell you about the grant in more detail, but I fear the video will get a little bit long. But I'll fill you in on all the gory details, which it's fair interesting. They do and don't cover, and you know, you are allowed to do and not allowed to do. Wheel is back on. It was remedied for £26.25. Bonus. With a new inner tube. So tomorrow's video will be a little bit different. I am trekking down and across to Wales. I am going to see Gareth Wyn-Jones, and I will be pecking him about all things sheep. I am super fortunate to be meeting one of the people who's responsible for me posting anything farming related on social media at all. And I have loads of questions, and I know you probably will too. So if you want me to ask him any questions and you have any for him, stick them in the comments below and I will get them answered for you tomorrow. That would make a nice, interesting video that's a little bit different, but still farming related. Super excited. I don't know what time I'll be posting. Forgive me if it's late. I am sorry. But look out for it all the same. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit lengthy, a little bit two-parted. But yeah, thank you very, very much for watching. As always, I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you tomorrow.